Hello dear friends, today we will continue our lesson that we took last time in math for 5th primary تحت رعاية وإشراف وزارة التربية والتعليم. Before we start, I would like to remind you with what we took last time. It was about multiplication and multiplying decimal numbers with integers and two decimal numbers together. Now we will discuss multiplying fractions, two fractions by each other. But before we start, I would like to remind you with the multiplication as a whole. Last year we took multiplication by one-digit number and two-digit numbers, and we went through this last time. And we said that the most important thing is to write the tens and units on top of each number, and then we start to multiply from the units. Another thing that I want to highlight here is that multiplication or division is the opposite of multiplication. So for example, if I have 4 times 3 and I want to know it's equals to what? Multiplication is repetitive addition. So it's 4 plus 4 plus 4, which gives me 12. Now if I want to divide 12 by 4, how can I get the answer? Since it is the opposite of multiplication, then I will search in table 4. 4 times what gives me 12? So 4 times 3 gives me 12. Okay, so that's what we mean by having the division being opposite of the multiplication. So both of them are the opposite to each other. Now we can start our lesson. Today I'll start with multiplying fractions. I have 3 steps to do this. Okay? Here, for example, 2 over 3, times 3 over 4. I want to know how to get the answer for this example. So, the first step is to multiply the numerators. Go back to last year. Do you remember how we write a fraction? It was a fraction dash اللي هي الشرطة اللي في النص, fraction dash, and on top أو فوق is the numerator, and at the bottom أو تحت is the denominator. يبقى الفراكشن عندي مكون من 3 parts. Numerator فوق, then the dash في النص, after that the denominator تحت. This is the fraction. Now I want to multiply 2 fractions by each other. The first step is to multiply the numerators اللي احنا قلنا they are on top. So here the numbers on top are the 2 and the 3. So I first will multiply the 2 and the 3 by each other. Okay? So 2 times 3 is 6. So the answer will be 6, and I drag a fraction dash أو بعمل الداش and I stop. طيب أنا كده خلصت؟ No, I didn't. لأنه still the denominator I didn't multiply it. Then the second step here is to multiply the denominator, which is down, تحت. So here I will multiply the denominator, which is the 3 and the 4. So here I now multiply the 2 digits at the bottom, which are my denominators, and they are 3 times 4. So it will be 6 on top, and 3 times 4 is 12, and 12 at the bottom. أنا خلصت؟ No, I didn't. Because I cannot stop here. I have to make it to its simplest form. 6 and 12, they still can be simplified. I can simplify them furthermore. بخليهم أقل حاجة ممكن أوصل لها. So I check 6 and 12. What does they have in common? In table 6, 6 divided 6, which is my third step. Here, 6 divided 6 and 12 divided 6, because 6 is a common factor between both of them. So 6 divided by 6 is 1, and 12 divided by 6 is 2. Then the answer is 1 over 2. Can I simplify this furthermore? No. 1 is the simplest number ever. So I cannot simplify this fraction furthermore. Now, أنا خلصت? Yes, I did. Another example I have here. 1 over 4 times 1 over 2. Here, as we said, we have 3 steps to do. The first step is to multiply the numerators, which are on top. So here, 1 times 1, and then the denominators at the bottom or down. 4 times 2, I multiply them. 1 times 1 is 1, and 4 times 2 is 8. Third step, and the most important, I have to simplify the number to its simplest form. In this case, do I need to simplify this number? Of course not, because 1 is the simplest form of all numbers. So I cannot simplify this anymore. Now my answer is 1 over 8. Second example, 3 over 4 times 5 over 7. I multiply the numerators first, then the denominators. Then the third step is to simplify my fraction. Now, 3 times 5 over 4 times 7. Let's see the answer. 3 times 5 is 15, and 4 times 7 is 28. Do I have to simplify it anymore? I think it's big. Let's see if they have any common factor here. 15 and 28. 15 can be divided by 3 or 5 or 15. 28, can I multiply it by, divided by any of those? No. Then they have no common factor, then I cannot multiply both of them. Then this is their simplest form. I'll move to the last example, 2 over 9 times 1 over 3. Again, multiply both the numerators by each other and the denominators by each other. Then, third step is to simplify if possible. Here, 2 times 1 is 2, and 9 times 3 is 27. I will check. 27, it's not even an even number, so I cannot divide it by 2. Then they have nothing in common. They will stay as they are, so it's 2 over 27. This is my final answer. Now I will use another example. 1 over 8 times 2. The 2 here to every one of us is a whole number. But all the whole numbers in the world, they can be fractions. And we will put under them a 1. So it's 2 over 1. So this is not only a whole number, it can be also read as a fraction. So it's 1 over 8 times 2 over 1. Again, I will multiply النيوميريتور اللي فوق and the denominator اللي تحت. So, but this time 2 اللي هي whole number أنا هكتبها 2 over 1. So 1 over 8 times 2 over 1. 1 times 2 is 2, and 8 times 1 is 8. And then I will simplify them because both of them are even numbers and can be divided by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. 1 over 4 cannot be simplified anymore. Now let's move to the other example. 14 times 5 over 7. The 14 here also is a whole number. Any whole number can be put in the form of a fraction by putting fraction dash, and 1 under it. So here it's 14 over 1 times 5 over 7. Here 14 over 1 times 5 over 7. So 14 times 5 and 1 times 7. I can do something before I start, because 14 times 5 will give me a big number, so it will be very hard for me to simplify. أسهل على نفسي وأخلي الnumbers أصغر before I start to multiply. So here, if you check here, this is the rule that we will start with today. I can simplify before I multiply. قبل ما أعمل multiplication أنا ممكن أدور على أي numerator إنه أنا أعمل له simplification مع أي denominator. Numerators مع denominators. So هنا 14 over 1. I cannot simplify ال 14 مع ال 1. But I will check the other denominator, which is the 7. In this case, I can simplify it with the 7 because 7 times 2 is 14. So they have something in common between them. So I will cross them, and the 14 divided 7 will give me 2, and the 7 here will give me 1. So 2 over 1 times 5 over 1 equals 10 over 1, or 10. Now let's move to the other example. Here I have 2 over 9 times 18. Okay? I can simplify now, because if I multiply the 2 times the 18, it will give me a big number. So again, 18 over 1. Here, 2 divided by 9. Can I simplify them together? No. They have nothing in common. 2 and 1, no also. Then I will move to the other numerator, which is the 18. Can I simplify the 18 by the 9? Yes, I can, because 9 times 2 is 18. So now 9 divided 9 is 1, and 18 divided by 9 is 2. Now I can multiply the result and get the final answer. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4, and 1 times 1, the denominators, 1, so it will be 4 over 1, or 4. Another example, 7 over 8 times 16 over 21. Okay, let's start. First, I simplify because I have here huge numbers. They are very big. If I multiply them together and I try to simplify the answer في الآخر هلخبط كل حاجة. So I have to simplify them first, and then I get the final answer, or I multiply the answer at the end. Again, قلنا to simplify لازم numerator مع denominator. I check the first two, then I see. If it's not possible بشوف الدينومينيتور التاني. If not possible أرجع للنيوميريتور التاني وأشوف if I can simplify it by any of the denominators that I have here. So the first one here, 7, can I simplify it or divide it by the 8, or they have anything in common? No. Then I will check the 21. 7 and 21, yes. 7 divided 7 is 1, and 21 divided by 7 is 3. Then I'll move to the other numerator because خلاص I've got 1 in the first numerator. أقل حاجة مش هعرف أعمل simplification furthermore. Then I'll move to the 16. 16, can I divide it by the 8, or do they have any common factor or common multiple? Yes, they do. In table 8, 8 divided by 8 is 1, and 16 divided by 8 is 2. Then the answer is 1 times 2 and 1 times 3 in the denominator. So the answer is 2 over 3. Sometimes I can miss something, so we have to check the final answer after we finish to make sure that it is in its simplest form, because if it's not in its simplest form, I can simplify it furthermore. So I need to check after I finish. خلاص هي في simplest form بسيبها. لقيت إنه ينفع تاني simplify يبقى أكمل تاني simplification because ساعات قبل ما بعمل multiplication بيقع مني حاجة ما باخدش بالي إنه ممكن يبقى فيه further simplification. I'll move now to another example. 3 over 5 times 25 over 36. Okay, let's see. The 3 here, the first numerator, can I divide it or does it have anything in common with the 5? No. Then I'll check the other denominator here, which is the 36. So they have, yes, something in common. 3 divided by 3 is 1 and 36 divided by 3 is 12. Okay, now I will check the other two because 1 is the simplest thing that I can reach. 25, can I divide it by 12 or they have common factor or common multiple? No, they don't have. Then I check the 25 with the 5, the other denominator. Yes, both of them are in table 5. So I will start to simplify them. 5 divided by 5 is 1 and 25 divided by 5 is 5. Now I can get the final answer for the numerator and the denominator that I am dealing with. 1 times 5 is 5 and 1 times 12 is 12. So the final answer is 5 over 12. I have to recheck. Did I get the simplest form? Yes, I did. Then there is nothing more to do. I'll move now to the last example in this part. 5 over 6 times 2 over 15. Again, I will check the first denominator. The 5 and the 6, I cannot divide them by each other or they have nothing in common. Then I check the other denominator, the 5 and the 15. Then here 5 divided by 5 is 1 and 15 divided by 5 is 3. Then I'll move to the other one, which is the 2 and the 6. They can be simplified together. 2 divided by 2 is 1 and 6 divided by 2 is 3. Now I can move to the answer. So it will be 1 times 1 and 3 times 3 equals 1 over 9. I cannot simplify it furthermore because I have 1 in the numerator place, which is the simplest number. Now let's move to another example or another idea. This idea, I need to explain it on the board because I need some space to let you see what we do with this. So let's go and see what we should do about this. Dealing with mixed numbers and multiply them with proper fractions might be a slightly different case. So we need to see how we answer this type of questions. As you see on the side of the question, I have a proper fraction. So this is not a problem for me. But on the side of the question or the multiplication problem here, I have a mixed number. So this is a new idea for me and I have to deal carefully with it. So I have to change the mixed number into a proper fraction here because it's a mixed number. So I have to change it to a fraction before I start multiplying. So this is what I'm going to do. I always keep the denominator the same in case of proper mixed numbers and changing them. So the denominator does not change at all. Then what I do is to multiply the denominator by the whole number that I have. Here the denominator is 3 and the whole number is 2. 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, I've got 6. Put it in your mind. And now I will add the 6 that I have put in my mind. I will add it to the 2 here. So 6 times 2, 6 plus 2, sorry, is 8. So the answer is 8 plus 3 times 3 over 4. Now I am done with my mixed number. I have turned it into a fraction, or improper fraction, and now I can multiply both of them together. Now, I will try to simplify before I multiply, as we said before. 8 divided by 3. Can I simplify them? No. But I have here the other denominator, the 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2, and 4 divided by 4 is 1. Now I can also simplify the 2, 3 together. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 3 divided by 3 also is 1. And now I multiply to get my final answer. So 2 times 1 is 2, and 1 times 1 equals 1. So the answer is 2 over 1, or 2. Now let's go back to finish our examples. Okay, this is the example that we have discussed on the board, and I just show you how to turn a mixed number to an improper fraction, so we can multiply them, or simplify first and then multiply. Now we will take another idea. Here I will multiply a decimal number by a fraction. So my example would be 0.6 times half. In this case, I have two options. Either to convert the fraction into a decimal number, then I multiply them, or to convert or change the decimal number that I have here into a fraction, and then I multiply them. I mean that both of them, they have to be of the same type. ما ينفعش fraction مع decimal number ولا decimal number مع fraction. لازم fraction مع fraction أو decimal number مع decimal number. So I will show you both ways. Here, when I change it to a decimal number, 0.6 stays as it is, and half, we know it from last year. إنه 1 over 4 is 0.25, 1 over 2 is 0.5, and 3 over 4 is 0.75. كنا حافظين الكلام ده كويس. So here 0.6 times 0.5 equals, we said before إنه I take away the decimal point, then I multiply them. After that I count how many decimal places I have here, then I will put my decimal point. يبقى هنا 0.6 times 0.5, or 6 over 10 times 1 over 2. Get منين 6 over 10? برضو last year we said that I have here the 6 in the first decimal place after the decimal point. It means that it was a 6 divided by 10, and it gave me 0.6. So I take away the decimal point and I make it 6 over 10. So 6 over 10 times 1 over 2. Now I shall get the answer, and I will compare the answers to know whether it's the same or not. So here 0.6 times 0.5. 6 times 5 is 30, and I have a decimal place in the first number and one decimal place in the second number. يعني I have two places. يعني I will put the decimal point after two places. Here I count 0, then 3, then I put the decimal point after the 3. طب فين the whole number? I have no whole number, then I put a 0. Now I will move to the other one when it is just a fraction. 6 over 10 times 1 over 2. Remember, first I have to simplify, okay? So here 3 times 1, because I have simplified the 6 with the 2. 6 divided 2 is 3, and 2 divided. 2 is 1, so it's 3 times 10 over 10 times 1, and the answer here is 3 over 10. And again, I have 1 0 only, and I said when I have 1 0 only, then it's 0.11 place, which is here the 3. I'll put it in it here, 0.3. So we said at the beginning of this year and last year that if I have here a 0 after 0.3 or after the decimal point, it's nothing for me, so I can cross it. So it's 0.3 and here 0.3. The two answers are the same, so this means that I am doing it correctly. Okay? Now, let's move to another one. Find the width of a rectangle is 2 over 5 of its length. If the length of the rectangle is 20 centimeter, I need to know the width and the area of the rectangle. So it's 2 over 5 of the length of the rectangle. Of the length, it means times 20. Then here I start to simplify. Divided 5 is 1, divided 5 is 4, so it's equals to 8. The width is 8. The area is length times width. Okay, so here the width is 2 over 5 of its length, and 2 over 5 times 20 equals 8 centimeter. Now I will get the area, which is length times width. So I got the width 8 and 20 is the length of the rectangle, so it's 20 times 8, so it's 160 centimeter square. The unit of measuring the area is centimeter square. Here, the last one, 3 over 5 of an hour equals how many minutes? So I multiply the 3 over 5 times 60 because we have 60 minutes in an hour, and again, I will simplify. I'll get the answer. Here, 5 divided by 5 is 1, and 60 divided by 5 is 12. 3 times 12 is 36 minutes. I was very glad to be with you today. Study well, good luck, and see you next time.